She set out to do something that she never imagined she had the capacity to. Ended up achieving way more than what she had set out for. Personal stories seldom have these words as its opening line. Ones that do have passion as a subtext that repeats in every chapter of the story. Along the way, goals appear, journeys happen, new directions are taken, achievements accumulate. In all this, the one constant is passion. And when empathy accompanies passion, the story takes an upward spiral. To unpack this narrative, here is a conversation with Dr. Mukul Padalkar, DABVP, a practitioner in veterinary medicine currently residing in Santa Clara, California, in the US. In addition to her professional practice, Dr. Mukul is deeply passionate about Spanish language and culture, being fluent in both. She calls herself a runner, having completed countless half marathons, a few marathons, and is currently preparing for the forthcoming San Francisco Marathon event. Welcome, Mukul, to the Wings podcast.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here.
Mukul, it's such a joy that we started talking about 2-3 months back on this, and I remember January, Asha and I were visiting US, San Jose, California, to visit our son, and one of the social dinners we had was with one of your cousins,
Yes.
who happens to be a very, very dear friend of me and Asha. And we got chatting, and such a wonderful family, his daughter, his son, his wife. And for some reason, your name popped up in that conversation. I don't know why and how, but I think this daughter of your cousins, she brought it up and she spoke so much about you, as if she is in awe of you, or she loves you so much, or whatever. I know you are her aunt, Atya, as they call it. Am I right?
Yes, but the age difference between us is not very much. So although I'm her aunt, we treat each other as sisters, cousins. I'm her older
Friends?
sister, friends.
Friends? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So that intrigued us. I think Asha said, Milind, here is someone we need to talk. I mean, love to see if we can have her on our podcast. And cut to today, 3 months, you and I are recording this podcast. I sitting in my home in Pune, in India, and you sitting in San Jose, California, thanks to Zoom, thanks to internet. So before we jump into the actual conversation, let me ask you, you heard a few of our podcast episodes,
Yes.
before we got on to where we are right now as a part of the
Yes.
prep phase. Just wanted to, hear from you, whatever one or two episodes that you heard and you probably recall right now. What is your take on our podcast?
I think the podcast seems very personal. The guests seems like they are very close to you. Of course, I don't know if you've met them before or how long you've known them, but just through listening, it seems like you have struck a chord and the conversation feels very natural. The flow is very smooth. And it also feels very knowledge, like the podcast seems like it is imparting some knowledge. I learned a lot about winemaking, about economics, about certain cities in the US where the guests have traveled to. So it's educational in a way. And of course, all of them are Indians. So I just feel very close to all the guests just by listening. So much effort over the last so many podcast episodes you have recorded. So it feels like easy to listen to, but I can tell that it does not it's not easy. I'm sure there is a lot of effort that goes behind the scenes. So you must have worked very, very hard putting together all of this, finding people, getting together the material. So thank you for doing all of that.
No, it's labor of love, as they say. Asha and I kind of started this, initiative of Wings Podcast in January of 2022, if I recall right. So it's kind of a little over 4 years now. And yes, it is by design, a conversation with young Indians, wherever they are, whatever they may be doing, and listen to just who they are and how are they living out their lives. What does it mean for them to be a citizen of the world, a citizen of the countries they are residing at the moment. Listen to their dreams, aspirations, achievements, frustrations, whatever keeps them awake in the night, whatever they want to wake up to the next day morning. Simple stories, as they say in Hindi, अच्छी कहानियां, सच्ची कहानियां.
Mm-hmm.
And we are doing it just to curate a repository in the digital world, where it will remain perpetually, more or less. That's what we are hoping for anybody to listen into and derive whatever they want to. So, for example, after 4 years, we are at a stage where the podcast is being listened to in over 90 countries, 90,
Wow. That is
uh,
awesome.
and in about 1,600 plus locations, and tens of thousands of listeners. So I'm going to read out a very interesting post
Hmm.
that you uh, made on your
Hmm.
Facebook page about a week
Hmm.
back.
Okay.
So I'm not a Facebook guy. I am
Mm-hmm.
not an
Me
Insta
neither,
guy
actually. It is
either way,
only
but
when certain
y-
events happen, I
yeah.
tend to post.
Yeah, and there's something very, very big event that happened for you, I know, a week back. Asha and you are connected as Facebook friends. So thanks to Asha's
Oh,
kind of
right.
random scrolling, she found this post of yours. So I'm going to read this out to you right now.
Sure, sure.
It's just about a week old.
I think I know what you're talking about.
So your post goes like this, Mukul. This has been quite a process. I graduated in 2010 and in 2017 moved to the US with a dream to become a diplomat. Of course, there were twists and turns and ups and downs, but here we are. Somehow, hanging on to dear life, I managed to sprinkle the 5 letters DABVP after my name. Hopefully, I made my mentors proud. It's quite amazing what the brain and body can handle, and from what lows we can rise. We keep moving, learning, and doing. Life is good. What's this, Mukul?
So, long story short, I became a diplomat of American Board of Veterinary Practitioners. So, a diplomat is someone likely a doctor or a physician, or in my case, a veterinary doctor. I'm a veterinarian. So, a diplomat is someone who has achieved a high level of expertise in their area. So, in this case, it's a diplomat of American Board of Veterinary Practitioners. So, I would call myself a specialist in the area of practice of veterinary medicine in dogs and cats. So I had gone to Boston with Shantanu, who's my husband, to receive my certificate of diploma. And there was an award ceremony. So it was a very, very special event for both of us. And of course, there have been so many people who have contributed to my journey. It's just not me alone, right? It takes a village, and there are so many people. My mentors from India and NC State, and the people that I work with, my colleagues, clients, patients who are the part of this whole journey. So that was a very emotional post because little did I know back in 2017 that this day would arise when I would be holding that certificate. So it made me very happy.
So there are 3 calendar years that kind of two actually that shows up in this post of yours. One is 2010 when you
Mm-hmm.
graduated, 2017 that you moved to the
Mm-hmm.
US,
Mm-hmm.
and now we are in 2026. So
I know.
I'm kind of tempted to pick your brains as to how
Mm-hmm.
this DABVP happened to you as an endorsement from the three lives that you have probably lived up
Mm.
till 2010, between 2010 and 2017, and 2017 into now. I mean, the rational brain says that your today is a product of the past. So let's stay with this notion, saying that I have arrived today because there is some steps I have taken in the past, as if time is a linear journey, which somehow, honestly speaking, I don't subscribe to. For me, my Indian brain tells me time is circular. It just goes round and round and round. But that's a different story. So, kind of let's decipher, if at all, your arrival at this mountaintop called DABVP from the three stories or the three Mukuls prior to 2010, then up to 2017, and then up till now.
Yeah, of course. I would love to share my journey. I had not thought about this at the time when I graduated from veterinary school. This was not at all a goal for me. The goal has always been to learn, to improve, and to continue to improve. And that's what has led me over here. So when I graduated, I had no clue as to what I was going to do. So I entered private practice as an associate. So I did not open a practice on my own, but I joined an existing practice and I learned over there on the job and became better each day. And then I had an interest in ultrasound. So I started uh, like a small practice of my own and started seeing cases by a referral basis. And I started again improving. And at that point, there were no training courses, like a formal training courses in India. So I was learning ultrasound and doing at the same time. And at a certain point, I realized that I was taking on way too much responsibility without any formal training. So that was the reason why I decided to move to the US because there are formal internships and residencies and a pathway that I could walk and become a diplomat. So at that point in 2013, the goal was to become a radiologist.
Wow.
So that's why I moved to the US. And for that, I needed to do a rotating internship of a year. Otherwise, it's extremely or rather impossible to get into a residency. So I applied for several programs. Eventually, I did not get into one. So I reapplied the following year, and I was lucky enough to get a position at North Carolina State University. So fortunately, Shantanu also was able to procure a job in the Bay Area in California. So both of us moved to the Bay Area, and then I moved to Raleigh in North Carolina to do my 1 year internship program, which was extremely hard from the point of speaking English, because in India, in Pune, I was not used to speaking English. I was not used to thinking in English. And I used to talk to people in Marathi, and it was just a completely different experience. And academically, also, it was extremely challenging because it was a tertiary level teaching institute with all possible diagnostics and treatment options available. The clients were very, very demanding. So it was just a very challenging 1 year for me. But then I think uh, the doctor that I am today, NC State has a large role to play. And I finished my program. I had applied for diagnostic imaging residencies. I did not get one. Then I reapplied the following year. And then I was very close to getting one. But at that point, I was at a stage in my life where I had not worked, and the immigration system in the US is convoluted and it did not align with the imaging residency opportunity, and it was just very chaotic. So both of us decided that it was not going to be a practical option for us at that point because it would have required me to move to a different state, and I was already done with the long distance East Coast West Coast scenario.
As
So
a
I
as a as
decided,
a as a as a married person.
as a married person, like I should. So we decided that we would just live in the Bay Area, and then I would enter the workforce. So fortunately, I was able to start work in private practice in San Francisco. I thoroughly enjoyed working there for 6 years. And after 6 years, I thought, okay, now what? Always, I always require something else to do, a new challenge. I felt settled, so I had to do something more. And for the ABVP, it was on my radar for quite some time, but it required uh, 5 years of clinical experience. And I thought that, okay, I have reached that point where I have that experience and I should give it a shot. So I did whatever was necessary for it. And put in my application. I got approved. Then I took an 8-hour exam and then I passed. And that was that was the end of this part. But it is not the end, and I'm still hungry. So
I know,
I
I
don't know
know,
what I'm going to do. But
I know you
maybe
are
10
you.
years later in 2036, there would be something else that I may have done because I love veterinary medicine. I like being a doctor and I'm very committed to the profession. So I like learning, I like studying.
You know, as a 8 or a 10-year-old, every time I would fall ill, and I'm talking of my life in Mumbai. I used to live in Shivaji Park, which is like heart of Mumbai, right? The bastion of Marathi Maharashtrians in Mumbai. And I'm talking of the decade of 70s, long, long time back. And we had a family doctor, Dr. M.V. Nathu. Of course, he passed away many, many years back. As an 8 or 10-year-old, you fall ill for various reasons. So my dad or mom, I and Appa, I used to call them. Unfortunately, I've lost both of them. Um,
I'm so
they would
sorry.
take us, yeah, thanks. They would take us to Dr. Nathu. And tall man, 5 feet 11, almost 6 feet, lanky, very pleasant smile. For the first 4 5 minutes, instead of asking me my symptoms or what am I feeling, if it is a stomach ache, mostly at that age it is stomach ache. And then, when do I feel that ache, at what time or whatever I eat. He would never get into that diagnostic questions at all for the first 4 5 minutes. He would simply say in Marathi, आज शाळेत गेला होता का? So, did you go to school today? And I said, no, of course I have a stomach ache, so that's why I didn't go. So he would casually say, do you have a stomach ache because you didn't want to go to the school? Or is it really a genuine stomach ache? So he'll kind of laugh it out and, kind of get me into a conversational zone. So basically, a doctor-patient conversation of a very, very, very different nature, which seems alien today.
Hmm.
And with that itself, he would know what is actually happening to me.
Hmm.
I mean, the medical tests and all, if at all required, he would do, but that's about it. Now, why I'm bringing this up is you are a veterinary doctor. The patients that you deal with are dogs and cats.
Mm-hmm.
They don't talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
They can't tell you what is going wrong with them. Only the people who have these pets who bring them to you, they probably tell you the symptoms, which is fair. I don't know how the process works. I'm kind of a
Mm-hmm.
very naive about this. But a naive question to you, which I always wanted to ask you, but I've held it till
Hmm.
today. Do you talk to the dogs and cats, your patients?
Yes, I do talk to them in different languages.
So
I don't know
give
if
me
they
an example.
understand me.
Give me an example of an actual case where there is a cat or a dog that has come to you for diagnostic and treatment, and you are having this conversation with that pet. How would the conversation go?
No, I will tell you the exact thing that happens because I do talk to them as if they would understand me, and I think they do pick up the tone of my voice, even though they don't understand the exact words or the language. They do understand my demeanor and what I'm trying to do. And if I'm going into an exam room and the owner is there also with the pet, so the first thing I do is to say, "Hi, Fluffy, how are you feeling? Your mom told me that you're limping today." And then I would proceed and start my physical exam. And I would touch, for example, if it was the back leg, does it hurt here? Can I touch you? I know this feels hard. I know life is hard. Let's just get through this. And then I would continue my physical exam. And then if they would react, I would be like, "Hey, I'm sorry I hurt you. I know it hurts, but I'm just going to do what I need to do so that we can make you feel better." And we just finish our exam, and then I explain my findings to the owner. And I think that talking to patients, patients as in my animals, also would help soothe the owner because they understand what I'm doing. They can see what I'm doing. And overall, it helps them trust me also. Otherwise, I'll just be doing everything in silence and no one knows what I'm doing. Like I cannot have a telepathic communication with the pet, which I could, but they would not understand.
But tell me, a conversation like this, it is impossible to fathom uh, how is it received by the the pet, the animal. It's easy to understand and fathom what it does to their owners or whoever is caring for them.
Yeah.
Uh, what does this conversation do to you, Mukul, as a doctor at that moment in time? I'm kind of curious, I'm kind of a more a here and now person, so I thought I'll just prick your brains there.
I definitely feel that I'm closer to the patient, and I feel like I have created a bond with the animal when I'm talking to the animal. And they, even though they don't necessarily respond with the same language, they might whimper, they might vocalize, they might communicate through their body language, that they may wag a tail, they might take their ears back, they might dilate their pupils. So that communication is there. So it's cues that I receive through their body language, through their vocalization, where I can decide, okay, what is the next thing that I'm going to do. So it is a special bond that happens when I'm doing my work with them. And then sometimes we hospitalize the patients and then they are with me for the whole day and their parents go home, and we do share some cuddles and affection. And over few days, if I'm hospitalizing a patient for a few days, we do share a bond, and I feel like the more time we spend with the patient, we are able to communicate better.
So what's your setup like right now? If I can call it a nursing home or a clinic or whatever, where is
So it's a
it and
yeah,
kind of what
it's
sort of infrastructure do you have there?
yeah, currently I'm working in a full service veterinary hospital for dogs and cats in San Carlos, California, which is in the Bay Area. So it's a very large facility, and we see outpatients. And if there is a problem, we have the capacity for inpatient as well. Not 24 hours at the moment, but with time we'll get to a point where we are open majority of the day. And we only see dogs and cats.
Whilst there's enough written and spoken about why do pets matter to us as human beings. I mean, of course, those who have them know it well. I don't have one. I've never had one. When you, as a doctor, when you look at what does pets mean to human beings,
Yeah,
specifically dogs and more specifically cats, because in India, dogs have been around as a pet for ages.
for
It's just
longer.
like
Yeah.
recent in the last decade or plus. Suddenly there is a love for having cats. So maybe in if you can just help me and help our listeners understand why do
Yeah.
dogs
So
and cats matter to us as human beings? What do they do to us?
there has been a lot of research on the human animal bond. if you have not heard about this, but there is actually even a research institute that studies the human animal bond. So pets help alleviate stress. They help fight depression in people. They help people from getting lonely. They help you be active when you take your dog for a walk. When you play frisbee with your dog, it helps you to stay active. And generally, they help you feel like there is a place of belonging. So, in recently, when families have started becoming smaller, more people are choosing to not have kids. Obviously, there will be these things that come into picture: loneliness, depression, isolation. There is no sense of belonging. So, pets definitely fill that void. And cats are getting more popular because they are relatively low maintenance as compared to dogs. Because you don't have to take them for a walk, you don't have to really bathe them, you don't have to engage with them as much. They are quite independent. They cannot emotionally manipulate you as much as dogs do. By the way, I like dogs and cats equally, so there is no bias. But that may be a practical reason why cats are getting more popular these days. Homes are also a little smaller in some places, so um, I think having pets definitely changes you as a person. A part of your soul is not awakened. Like you don't know a part of yourself unless you have owned a pet or cared for one.
Mukul, I read somewhere many, many years back that if you want to really, really, really understand a tree in all its entirety, not just the manifest look of the tree, but even the unmanifest essence of the tree,
Hmm.
there is no way out but to look into the seed and try and understand what's in the seed, because that's what is going to manifest as a tree, both in terms of the visible form and the invisible essence. Sounds esoteric, sound philosophical, but yeah, these lines have stayed with me, and I've kind of taken it more as a metaphorical term rather than anything
Hmm.
else. So if I have to
Hmm.
bring that
Hmm.
into the conversation that we have now, that as a vet doctor today, if
Hmm.
that's a tree, what was in the seed?
Yeah. So I would give all credit to Bombay Veterinary College, where I studied veterinary medicine, and it helped me know ultrasound as a diagnostic tool. My master's thesis was in echocardiography, so that's the first time I ever held an ultrasound probe in my hand. And that's where my love for ultrasound began. And it took me to the US, and that's what brought me here. So, the doctor that I am today, the ultrasound specialist, or the knowledge that I've gained in ultrasound goes back to Bombay Veterinary College.
The same article that I read, which I referred a moment ago, also said that if you have to really understand and look into the seed, you got to go a step back and
Hmm,
see
that's so true.
where the seed came from.
That's so true.
So I know Dr. Mukul Padalkar is born to one of the most respected and prominent doctors, not just in Pune city in India, but across the country in their field of work. Both your parents are doctors. So
Yes.
let's hear, where did the seed come from?
So my parents are pediatricians. So I saw the importance of hard work, dedication, discipline, work ethic, empathy, kindness as a very, very young child. So day in, day out, I saw my parents working into the late hours at night. And I I was a part of their life, but I saw how they worked very closely. And while I did not decide to pursue pediatrics for whatever reason, veterinary medicine just it drew me. The values that they have instilled are deeply ingrained in me, and I think that has that is actually the only reason of my success, the values. So whatever happened as a child, once I stepped outside the house, I was exposed to the outside world, but I was able to stay on track and not get distracted because of the strong foundation that they have built for me, which I am very lucky to experience.
Blessed are people like all of us, and I'm
Yeah,
going to count myself
yeah,
in
hmm,
this with you. I'm also blessed with some with amazing parents who left uh, in an unknown way. I mean, values and all are big things,
yeah,
big words that we kind of comprehend only much later in life. But how to be uh, is something which consciously we learn from obviously our immediate environment, and of
yeah,
course the first
yeah,
environment we know is
yeah,
parents. So a big shout out to all
yeah.
the parents.
Big shout out to my parents, and I'm glad that I'm able to speak about them on this huge public platform because we do take them for granted many times, and rarely do we get a chance to be loud and clear about them and about all the things that they have helped us achieve.
So all I can hear
Yep.
Mukul saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is if Mukul is saying, if I'm rocking, the rock star are my parents.
Yes. Rock stars are my parents, and I obviously want to give due credit to Shantanu also,
Of
who
course.
has been such a big supporter, and my parents-in-law as well. Unfortunately, my father-in-law is no longer there, but uh, both of them and now my mother-in-law, all of them continue to support me
Yeah, love to meet
in whatever
Shantanu.
I decide to do. Whatever
Uh,
I decide to do,
you
whether
know,
it's a marathon, whether it's pursuing the board certification, whether it's traveling somewhere, they are just my cheerleaders. So I'm very, very
absolutely.
lucky to be surrounded by supportive people.
As I heard Michelle Obama saying somewhere that your kitchen table needs to be filled with people who are truly yours.
Yeah,
So that's how. But okay,
absolutely agree.
let's kind of go back to from the seed and where it emerged to where the whole thing is going. So as a vet doctor practicing in the Bay Area as your own practice, what's your dream and aspiration for yourself, for your practice as of now, and what kind of agonies and frustration that accompany them?
I would start by talking about the second part of the question. So,
Okay.
veterinary medicine is not for the faint hearted, I would say. It is an extremely challenging profession. I love it. I love being a vet. I don't see myself as anyone else. But um, I have been fortunate that I have been a part of busy practices that have a fast pace of work. And in a given day, I would experience all kinds of emotions on the same day, sometimes in the same moment. But there can be anger, there can be frustration, there can be happiness, sadness, there can be um, pride, there can be just shame, failure, regret, and it just keeps on happening one after the other. So you have to have that mental elasticity to be able to survive. Having said that, it is a glorious profession, and I love being a part of it. Um, and having said that, I hope that through my work, I'm able to attract the right people are a good fit for this profession because it's not for everyone, and they are able to sustain. And there is a culture of mentorship, culture of safety and mutual respect and belonging, and we all continue to grow together and improve the profession and keep contributing. So I hope that through my work, we are able to continue growing the profession. And this just doesn't have to do with my clinic or my place of work. I could be anywhere, and I wish to continue to create and build a group or uh, a, a small society where people feel like, okay, it's a group where I can learn, I feel I belong, I feel safe here, and it's all a positive feeling within that community.
So beautifully said, Mukul. I mean,
Thank you.
I kind of I'm deeply touched with what you just said as to how you see yourself uh, as somebody who's contributing to the field.
Hmm.
Uh, that's the image that you hold for yourself, where the field is far more valuable and important
Of course.
than the
Yes.
practitioner himself or
Yes.
herself. And you
Yes.
know, India very recently lost, not India, world lost a legendary singer just a
Hmm.
couple of days back
Yes.
in Asha
Mm-hmm.
Bhosle.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we all have grown listening to her songs, and many
Yes.
generations will do
Yes.
so. And in one of her interviews, she was asked, I remember, on Doordarshan, which is the Indian national television, the black and white television days, almost in the late 70s, early 80s, where, and because she just passed away a couple of days back, whole lot
Mm-hmm.
of reels of hers from the past are kind of showing
Yes.
up. And I kind of happened to see one where she said that, listen, as long as I see myself making a little bit of contribution to this field, I think
Yes.
I would have lived a good life,
That is so humble of her, given the
undoubtedly.
big superstar that she was.
Let's kind of switch
She
tracks on
is.
this note because Asha Bhosle, in some way, I know you have that trait also. So do I, which is, for want of any words, let me say, zest for life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and your zest for life is not restricted to simply being a veterinary doctor,
That's
but
correct.
to be a part of a huge Spanish community that exists in California.
Yeah, I agree
So,
with you. Being a
so,
veterinarian
so,
is not
so,
my
so,
identity.
so, when I say this, that you have this huge love and sense of belonging to the Spanish community
Absolutely.
in California,
I absolutely do.
if that is true, then can you, or at least me, for the next 30 seconds, speak anything that you want in Spanish?
Yes, I would love to. Claro que sí. Claro que sí. Voy a hablar en español. Soy Mukul. Soy de India. Yo nací y crecí en Pune. Vivo en California. Soy veterinaria. Trabajo en una clínica para los perros y gatos. En mi tiempo libre me gusta estudiar español, hablar español, hacer, hacer ejercicio, correr. También tengo un pequeño jardín en mi casa y la Ciudad de México es el mejor lugar del mundo.
So,
Gracias.
gracias is the only word I know. That's what I will say. How did this Spanish happen to a young Maharashtrian Indian girl?
So I was at home, and not at that time in 2020 when it was lockdown due to COVID, not working for a few months. So I had a lot of time on my hands. And in the Bay Area, there is a lot of Spanish speaking population. So I thought, okay, I'll start Duolingo, which is how most people start learning languages, like a different language. And Duolingo is very nice. It is like a game. So I started doing that, and soon enough realized that it is not going to help me speak. So I started enrolling into some online courses. So there's Babbel. I saw some YouTube videos, and slowly through watching videos, I started getting a hang of the language. And then eventually, when I started working in San Francisco, I realized that there are a lot of Spanish speaking um, colleagues and clients. And I tried to speak a little bit, and that used to make them happy that I'm trying. So they used to encourage me by speaking Spanish back. And there were some colleagues who did not cut any slack. They used to speak fast, they used to not use easy words, and they used to speak to me as if I am a native Spanish speaker. And they wouldn't listen if I spoke in English. So that's how I ended up getting better. And every time there was a client, I spoke in Spanish, and it used to be a nice conversation. They really appreciated my efforts. And then I realized that, okay, if I continue learning, it's going to make a positive impact because I could communicate to those people that cannot speak English, or generally communicate with people that I wouldn't otherwise communicate with so easily. Um, and then I thought, okay, this is useful, and I started putting daily effort, and I started watching TV series in Spanish and listening to music and even writing. And then as I was in the process of learning, I got a chance to listen to the Duolingo Spanish podcasts, which is very different from the Duolingo app. And the podcasts are slightly higher level. But in one of the podcasts, uh, was I um was listening to it. It was about Mexico City, and there is a couple of parks in Mexico City, Parque Mexico, and the adjacent park that I don't remember the name. But it was a very nice description about how there is a walkway around it, trees, and dogs. So I was very keen on going there. So I set a goal for myself that I just want to go to Mexico and spend a few days in Mexico City and speak Spanish there. So I decided and I worked towards it, and I took my parents and Shantanu for a few days to Mexico City, and it was the best time over there. And it made me get out of my comfort zone. It helped me connect with a lot of people and opened up doors to a completely different culture. It made new friendships for me. And some people that I know through Spanish are one of my few of my closest friends, I would say.
There is this beautiful TV show on Netflix. I think it is on its season 4 or maybe 5. So it's been around for a while. And I think you and I spoke about it sometime back when we connected. This show called Emily in Paris, where is this young American girl who moves to Paris in the world of
Hmm.
PR in an ad agency, in a media agency, to kind of bring in American way of promoting things
Hmm. Hmm.
in Paris, which is so
Hmm.
conservative, and they've been kind of promoting perfumes in a
Hmm.
certain manner. They've been
Hmm.
promoting, let's say, lifestyle products, in a particular manner. And then she's kind of always into an argument to bring in that American way of branding, etc., etc. Fun stuff. I'm sure many of them would have seen it. But she has this French colleague at work. It's a small boutique media firm with 5, 6 people. That's about it. And the owner runs it, a lady. And this guy who speaks at least 7 or 8 different European
Oh, wow.
languages. He's actually a Dutch. Uh, I mean, in the show,
Hmm.
the character is actually born,
Hmm.
raised in Netherlands, but living much of his life in Paris. Speaks French far more fluently than probably most French would, but speaks Spanish, Italian, German,
Wow.
whatever. And then he says something very interesting to Emily, who knows only one language, which is English. Not that Americans only know English. I don't want to generalize
Yeah.
it. Americans know
Yeah.
many, many languages. But he tells this young American girl of 20 something that, every time you learn a new language, you change as a person.
Yeah.
Does this line sit with you when you have
I
gotten into
think so.
Spanish?
Yeah, I think so because it's also because of the culture that you get exposure to. So you open yourself up to new thoughts, art, and people. So you are open to those ideas. So exposing yourself to those things will change you as a person from that aspect. But also speaking a language helps create new neural connections. So you change, the brain actually changes when you learn a different language because the neural connections did not exist before that now exist. And through a through a different language, there may be some words or phrases that may not exist in your native language or some other languages that you know. So you might feel that you are able to express yourself differently in that language. And when you express yourself, you naturally feel different if you're using different words. So it definitely changes you as a person. It changes how you feel, and it helps, or it changes the way you see the world.
Also, I know, Mukul, that you are born into the Padalkar family, which is a huge tree, right? I mean, which
Yeah,
many, 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 many people who are so larger than life.
I know.
It's impossible to fathom that how can one family have people in the world of finance, in the world of
Imagine the pressure.
that's different. That's whether you take it. And I know you are taking it because I know you love pressure and you love deadlines. I know you love, taking on impossible goals. And I'm going to come to that in a moment. But one of your cousins, she happens to be one of the largest and the most prominent corporate leaders of finance
I
in
know.
India.
I know.
I won't take her name, but then she's a very, very dear friend of me and Asha.
Yes.
She heads one of the largest private insurance companies in India as a managing director and CEO. And she shared with me a couple of days back
Hmm.
a commencement speech that she gave at Indian
Yeah.
Institute of
I
Management, Bangalore,
yeah, I know
to a
about that.
group of passing out MBA
Yes.
students. Brilliant speech. Hats off to
Yes.
her. In her 7 minutes, no, it's in a 13 minutes speech, I think. Beautifully written, beautifully presented by her,
Hmm.
as if it was extempore.
Hmm.
She said something very interesting towards the end to the batch of graduating MBA students, reflecting on her own life. I don't have her exact words, but what she probably was saying that for her, life is both a sprint and a marathon.
Hmm.
And it's important for us to know when to sprint and when to marathon. I know you are a marathon runner. One of the other impossible goals that you set for yourself, like your veterinary practice, like your Spanish learning, you set your goals of getting into marathon. So let's hear about Dr. Mukul Padalkar putting on her shoes and getting ready for her next marathon.
So, I will call myself a runner.
Okay.
I
But a long distance runner.
runner
Okay,
because
chalo, koi baat nahi, koi baat nahi.
there there may be so many other people who do ultra marathons and like a significantly higher distance. So in comparison to that, I feel this is nothing. But everyone has their own growth journey, And I do consider myself a runner, but um, not a marathon runner per se, because for that I would have to do so many more marathons, and I have just signed up for one, and I've done only two before. So I think in the grand scheme of things, I am a junior marathon runner. I would put it as that. I have done countless half marathons, but uh, I love running. I love training for a target, some sort of a goal. And I think a marathon is a very nice goal to have because it runs for a significant amount of time to give you to do something, to do something significant, to do something positive. It changes your body, it changes your mind. And ultimately, when you achieve your goal, it's not about the goal, it's about the journey that matters. And every morning when I wake up and I have my running workout that is scheduled, it gives me something else to focus on besides the emotional aspect of veterinary medicine and everything else that comes along with it. It gives me a direction, a clear sense of direction. So, the last marathon that I had done was in Mumbai in 2015. And I signed up for it because I was living in Mumbai for almost 7 years at that point, and it is a city that is very close to my heart because I went to college there. I spent 7 years there as an adult between the age of 18 and 7 years after that. So I grew up there, and running the marathon in Mumbai felt like a tribute to the city. And the same emotion applies to San Francisco, where I'll be running my 2026 full marathon. And I worked
Wow.
there for
Wow. Wow.
6 years, and that city has given me so much. So I've grown as a doctor in San Francisco. So running a marathon in San Francisco is like a dream come true. So it's a way to say thank you to the city. So I'm very much looking forward to it, looking forward to the training, and I'm sure that I'll be a different person after the event.
But I hope occasionally you stop by and enjoy an ice cream too.
I do. I do. Yes. Yes, I absolutely do. There is
We-
absolutely no guilt when it comes to celebrations.
as long as you enjoy your ice cream while you are running crazy
Oh,
distances, which is fine.
absolutely. Yeah. I have a blast while doing all these crazy things. I do derive a sense of thrill when I put certain targets and try to achieve them. And the panic that I experience, it actually gives me thrill.
You know, the vet doctor that you are, Mukul, the half Spaniard that probably you have become thanks to your love for the language, the long distance runner that you are, or the runner that you are, as you called yourself, having done countless half marathons and preparing yourself for your next San Francisco full marathon very, very soon.
Hmm.
I'm sure there are many, many other aspects of Mukul and her life and what she's doing. But connects me to this beautiful, beautiful line in Hindi, which I will read out. Will I
Mm.
kind of speak in Hindi, but
Hmm.
I'll of course translate it. Your this conversation is reminding me of that line, Mukul. It just kind of came to me as I was just listening to you, and the line goes like this: हर जीवन की है एक नई कहानी, सदियां बीती फिर भी होती नहीं पुरानी. Every life has its own unique story. Centuries have passed, but none of these stories have ever gone old.
Yeah. Wow. So pretty.
So if Mukul were to write her memoir one day for herself, let's say, may not be for the larger world, how would you like to open that memoir and how would you like to end that memoir?
The way it'll open is she set out to do something that she had never imagined. She had the capacity to, ended up achieving way more than what she had set out for. And the end will be that she became the guide for everyone else that she herself never had.
And what's the title of this book?
The artist called Mukul.
Mukul, this has been such a wonderful, wonderful conversation. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hate to say this, that we need to come bring curtains down on this, but I have to, with one promise to you, that next time you are visiting Pune, Mumbai, give us a call. We'll catch up for lunch, dinner, wherever. Myself and Asha would love to host you, and Shantanu.
Yes, thank you so much for having me here. It has been great chatting with you, and I hope that you visit Bay Area again, and we'll definitely go to Napa and chat more over some wine.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
That's a deal, my dear. Okay, Mukul. Bye-bye. See you. Thank
Okay,
you.
bye-bye. Thank you.
You take care. Thank you for your time today, my dear listeners. This is your host, Milind Agnihotri, signing off. Goodbye, take care, and stay safe. This podcast is for general information purposes only and should not be considered as a piece of any professional advice. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of its guest. Creators of this podcast expressly disclaim any and all liability or responsibility for any direct or indirect, consequential or other damages arising out of any individual's use of this podcast. For feedback and suggestions, please write to wingsindia75@gmail.com. Thank you.